today. We are almost 15, so that's great. I'm the founder of Blue Connection, and I work as a coach and consultant with Blue Economic startup investors and support program. And here I'm working with the amazing team of the BlueMissionMed team and project with the Icarus team. So you have Marta, Matteo, and Irene also in the audience. Part of this Blue Mission Med program, we have some support services for solution provider in the Mediterranean area, and part of it were some masterclass, and today you will benefit from one of them. So the topic of today is really based on investment in the blue economy and how you, as startup or a solution provider, you can make the most of it. So securing investment is one of the biggest challenges actually for innovators in our sectors. You may know that SDG 14 is one of the least SDG will receive funds. So we need to change that. And it's not a problem of money. It's not a problem of investors. It's not a problem of violent ideas and innovators. But it could be this little gap on how to convince the investor how to make your solution, your project more bankable or investor ready. So it's what we're going to work on today. So during these 2 hours together, the goal is really to give you some practical tools you can apply directly to your own pitch. So we're going to have an introduction with a roadmap of what matters for investors. The good news is that I will share some insight because I created a survey that I share with a lot of blue investors in the blue economy, so blue funds. And so they answer this survey and share some of the great insight on what are they looking for in the pitch, in the startups, in the team, what are the green flag, what are the red flags. So I will share all these little tips with you. And we're going to also work on how to build a good pitch structure depending on your audience, and also how to present it orally when you are maybe attending an innovation contest or when you have B2B matching events. So really giving you some practical tips on that. And just to let you know, for those who are interested, in January, I will also launch a program called Blue Pitch Mastery, where we can go a little deeper with some practical exercises and feedback on your own pitch and investor strategy. But today, it's really to give you the foundation you need, something really practical. So let's start it. So first of all, let's move to understanding the investor landscape. So I don't know how familiar you are with the big investor landscape, but just to first give you some insight regarding the blue economy, you can target, or I would say general funds, so investment funds, or some funds that are specialized in the blue economy. This is really important first to decide and to make your strategy based on the activity, based on the sector you are on. Because depending on the kind of funds you are targeting, you will need to adapt what you are saying, your key messaging, and your strategy to approach these different funds. So here, really, in the first part, we're going to understand which funds I am targeting, at what stage of funding I am, and so which funds are relevant for each stage. I am in a pre-seed, Series A, Series B, so really important to understand. And also to understand what they are actually looking for in the blue economy space. If you are in early stage startups, they are not looking at the same key metrics as the one if you already have a team, if you already have revenue attraction. So really, it's not like a message that fits all. It's really how to adapt your messages at any stage, any level, any funds on your entrepreneur journey. So let's begin with this really important topic about what kind of funds I will choose. So for the general funds, their priority is usually having big markets, a fast scalability, and a clear return on investment. So here, when you talk with general funds, there is kind of a golden rule, I will say. First, avoid some really like technical jargon or technical terms in the beginning, like in the first session of the discussion, and maybe focus more on the business case. Then they will ask for a technical team or experts specialized in the ocean sectors. But first, you need to show them that there is a market, there is a traction, and so they can bet on you. So you really need to show them how big is the market, how do you make money, what is your traction. So these are the key numbers, key figures you need to put in your pitch for this kind of fund. So instead of, translate your story with this universal business language. So you need to have the revenues, the growth, the cost reduction, the customer pain. That's really, really important. On the other side, when we have the specialized blue economy funds, these investors really focus specifically on ocean tech, blue tech, and they have experts. Some of them cover the overall blue economy, but some of them are really focusing on specific sectors, maybe decarbonation in marine transportation, aquaculture, seafood, marine renewable energy. So you need to do your homework. You need to see what are their specialty, who are the experts in their investment team. You can also do your research. What are the last investments they did? Oh, they invest in this startup. This startup is in the same area as me. What were the criteria? What were the differentiation? So do your homework before talking to these specialized funds. So this is really important. And for them, most of them are combined with some impact funds. So, of course, they still are investment funds. So you need to talk about money, profitability, etc. But you also need to talk about SDG 14, marine ecosystems, the regulatory process, and all the sector-specific impact. So here it's more like a balance, a dual proposal with the impact and the business in the blue economy. So really, I know that most of the blue economy funds talk about impact, etc., but impact alone is not enough. Even if they care deeply about the oceans, they still need market traction, a credible business model, and a clear development milestone. So don't forget that. And adapt your strategy depending of who you are talking to and the kind of key metrics you need to, emphasize. So really, when I work with some of the startup I coach through the BlueMissionMed program or the Bluefish Mastery, we really do we get one step further. I always ask to the coachee, okay, look at their website, look at their portfolio, look at their past investments. And you need to rephrase, you need to reposition what you are saying to each of the funds and investor you are talking to. It's good to have a general documents, but after you need to personalize each time you are talking to someone. So it's not just sending a generic deck. Yes, Sorina?
Thank you, Marilu. Thank you. What I wanted to add that more than, of course, this is the first aspect, looking at their website and understanding, but the most important thing, what I realized is that you will not get the chance to speak with them at high level, maybe just with an analyst, if you are not introduced by a program that they are working with or a startup that they are already founded. So it's very important when you look at their portfolio to look, maybe you know some of the startups that they work with, and an introduction will facilitate the discussion.
Thank you, Sorina. No, thank you, Sorina, for this really good point. And actually, it was one of the questions in the survey for Blue Investor. I asked, how do you like the startups, the project owner to contact you? Or do you want to have this introduction? And actually, their portfolios, the programs, the support programs, so for example, be part of BlueMissionMed or knowing one of the startups that you meet in some networking event, accelerator program, always build your networks because this is what they prefer. They say like introduction on LinkedIn, email, and on email through a common person that we know is really important. So thank you, Sorina, for sharing your experience and expertise on that, because it's good to know who you are talking to, but also how you're going to reach to them, how you're going to contact them, and how you're going to approach. So yeah, doing your homework is really like part of it. Making your research, understanding what are they looking for, and also understanding the process. Sometimes here it's more difficult to have some information, but talking with some of the startups who have been through all these steps, so maybe first the general interview, then for example if you talk with the general funds, maybe they're going to have a specialized or advisor on this specific topic, so you will have the technical talk. So you will have several steps, and you need to be prepared for each of them, and understanding that it could be a long burn, but be prepared. Be prepared. I also advise, and I know Sorina is doing it also, when you begin your investor journey, having like an Excel document with so the name of the fund, what you send to them, what were their remarks, etc., their feedbacks, to follow that, because also their question, because like that you can take all of these elements and build again and have a stronger pitch deck. So each feedback, take note after each meeting with them, and you will see the progress, because sometimes it could feel difficult and you don't see, any any progress at all when it's a long run. But having this note after each meeting and using this information to strengthen your pitch and your strategy is really good. So I strongly encourage each of you to have this document to follow up and track your progress, track their question, how you feel. It's really important. Any other question on this part, or I can move on? I don't see any other hand up, so let's move. Okay. So then I wanted to talk about the different type of investors. Here again, it will really depend of the stage you are, like also the sectors, but I don't know the maturity of the people in the group runner in the audience, but just a quick overview of the different investor we have. So we have the angel investors, the venture capital, the corporate funds, and the impact investor. I would say that most in the blue economy. They all bring capital, but they don't all think the same way. So we're going to try to adapt a little bit our message and our strategy depending of the different investors. The first, the angel investors. They are usually individuals investing their own money, often for pre-seed or seed stage, and they are often like the first external believers in your project. So it could be the founder of the team, of course. You really need to show them some specific point. At this moment, the angel, they want to look very closely at the founder and the team, because it's really the core, it's really the people who will make the project be successful. So you really need to show the complementarity of the expertise, the different background of the team. It's really important. So really the team and the founder, really important for angel investor. Of course, the vision. It's not, oh, I'm just here, I just invent this project. No, it's saying, I have this vision. I want to go there to point A to point B. It's something, because they want to see the traction. They want to see the scalability of the project. They don't want to see, okay, I just invent the product, I will sell to my neighbor, etc. So really showing the vision, the potential, and of course, the financial return from them. And of course, not only the current numbers, it's linked to the vision, because when you are in early stage, sometimes you don't have so much thing to show, to demonstrate. So also the potential, showing the market is that big. We can target X% of this market, which represents X revenue. So showing really the potential of the market. They are the first believers, so they need to see that they can be part of the journey with you. Second, we have the venture capital firms. So here it's more like institutional investors. They usually comes in at seed or Series A's or later, not really too early. So in this case, actually, they manage other people's money. And so they need high growth potential. It's not only their own money, so they need to have a backup. And here with the VCs, the focus is more on the scalability, the revenue potential, and a clear path to profitability. So here you really need to switch your pitch when you're talking to a VC, and you really need to talk about your business model. How are you going to make money? How is your revenue build? Your key metrics like ARR, MRR, CAC, customer growth. These are really important key numbers that you need to show to this kind of investors. They have track records, they have methodologies, they have different steps. You need to fit, you need to speak the same languages. So really here, you need to have a list of all the key criteria, all the different financial numbers they're looking for, and have it ready in your pitch deck and ready to give it to them. They will ask you anyway. And of course, you also need to have your expansion strategy. So with the first investors, the angel, it was more like having the vision, saying, I want to be there. Here, when I say expansion strategy, it's more kind of a go-to-market expansion strategy. So in order to go there, I will do this, then this. I will go to this market, then I will expand internationally, then I will open to a subscription model. So they need to see your strategy and your action plan in order to achieve these results. So really important to have this in mind, your expansion strategies. Then we have the corporate funds, the corporate venture capital. So here it's more when we have some large companies, for example, I would say shipping groups, energy company, maritime industrial players. And here, what they usually look for, it's more like strategic synergies. They want to see that your innovation supports their core businesses. They're thinking long term, disruptive innovation, and they want to see how your innovation can fit with this or to strengthen their offer. But also sometimes when they want to access to new market or new technologies. So it's really for them an external development strategies. And so they rely on open innovation, and funding is a way for them to do it. So when you pitch to corporate investors, you have to ask yourself, how does my solution help them innovate faster? It's not only like having something that complements, it could be also about the timing, how I help them reach the market faster. So don't forget that. It could be also, how can I help them reduce the cost, reduce the emission, or create new services? For example, right now in marine transportation, you know that there is a big push on regulation regarding the emission, for example, with the International Maritime Organization. So any startups who help them achieve this threshold, this objective, will be really important for them because the timing is key. And so if you can help them reaching this gap, that's perfect. So really in your pitch, try to focus on the synergy in innovation acceleration and how your tech can solve their challenges. Then we have the impact investors. So here, as I mentioned earlier, they are looking for both financial returns, of course, and measurable, I insist on that, social, economical, and environmental impact, of course. So with them, you should be able to show, of course, your financial KPIs, always, but also your impact metrics. Could be CO2 reduction, biodiversity gains, reduction in marine litter, etc. This is really important for them. They are engaged with their investors. So you need also to prepare these non-financial metrics when you're talking to impact funds. So also be ready to do your homework and try to translate some of your action with some key metrics regarding environmental social impact and how you can create value for investors and how you match with the mission, with the vision and the portfolio again of the solution they are dealing with right now. So just to sum up, like angel usually comes in pre-seed, seed, and bet on the team and the vision. The VCs, they focus more on scalability, the revenue potential, and key metrics like ARR or CAC. Corporate funds look more for strategic synergy with their core businesses, and impact investor, of course, look both for financial returns and measurable social and environmental impact. So now that you have this good review, be ready to adapt your pitch and how you present your solution to each of these different funds. Something that you also need to understand is how you talk, how you will adapt your pitch and your narrative depending on your funding stage. Because what works for a pre-seed investors actually will not convince a Series A VC. So you really need to adapt from the pre-seed, the seed, the Series A, and Series B, the kind of main idea behind it. So really the pre-seed is really to validate the idea. The money really will be on the founders, as I mentioned. So at this moment, the investors know that you will have little or no traction. Your product is early. So what they really care about at this stage is, does this solve a real problem? So you should really show that there is a big problem that you are solving right now. Is there a vision? And as a team show, early sign of validation. Do you have like survey, like early customer feedback, interviews, prototype, press coverage, like any sign? They know that you don't maybe have paying customers or not really traction right now, but any sign, any proof that there is traction, that there is positive feedback, and that you solve a real problem is really important. So really problem, vision, and your early, I will say, learning or feedback. So yes, that's for the pre-seed. For the seed stage, here the goal is really to build your MVP and gain validation in the market. So here we are talking, as I mentioned, about some angel investors, seed funds, early stage VCs, and sometimes accelerators also that can take part in your company. And so here they want to see the sign of product market fit. Okay, does your solution solve a real problem on the market? And also the customer validation. So here you really need to highlight in your pitch the early sales, if there are some pilot customers, letters of intent, or even like strong user feedback. The message here is to say that, okay, we have something real. It's not just an idea. We have something real and people are ready to use it or pay for it. So help us fill this gap. But we are in the stage where it's not just an idea. We have something, we solve a problem. We just need a little push to go further. For the Series A's, here it's really a shift to scaling a proven business model, actually. So here the investors, they want to see recurring revenues, they want to see user growth, they want to see a clear path to profitability. So here you really need to focus on like traction figures, how the business can scale. So if you have, for example, international development strategy at the moment to show that the business will grow again and again. And also reassure them or prove them that your unit economics make sense. So how your business model is organized, what are the source of revenue? Is it like a software? Do you have a product? Do you have subscription? Show that it's balanced and how you can make more in the future. So really showing like key figures as I mentioned. So MMR, growth, CAC, LTV, all these key financial figures and numbers, you need to have it ready at this stage. And then, so Series B and beyond, I don't know if some of you in the audience are at this stage. So if you're here, you're already good with investors, but just to give you a little overview. So at this stage, it's really about accelerating growth and expanding. So you have been here on the market, you have your product, you have your customers, you are strong on this, but you need to show, okay, now I want to go to new market, new segments, larger operation. I need to have a bigger industrialization process to go to reach to this international market. So here, investors, when they are in this stage, they expect a strong competitive advantage. Okay, you need to show that you have IP, you need to show that you have a process, you have customers, you have a branding, like really a big competitive advantage. Of course, serious financials. Here, you are not like in the first year. So you need to show you have been serious, you have been um, consistent, and that it's related to your strategy. So really here, financial is really important. They will check what you have done in the previous stage of financing and investment road. And then, of course, I think here there is also a turn, they need, of course, a clear vision for the future, but also like market leadership. And here, so the CEO, the leader of the company, also will have a role on that, because you will have the structure of the company, the financial, but also the person and the team who's going to lead in this next transition. So here there is also something to do with the team and work on that for this next step, I would say. So again, to summarize on to understand like this journey, founding journey for a startup, at pre-seed and seed, investors know you don't have huge traction yet, so they look really more on the problem, the clear vision, and early validation. So do interviews, do pilots, first user, collect all this feedback from the field, really important. From Series A's and beyond, it's all about scaling, so recurring revenues, user growth, and I would say healthy unit economics. And so, as I mentioned, your pitch will not be, stuck in the high. So you really need to evolve from this is a great idea to this is a growing business with a path to scalability and profitability. So you will have to adapt your pitch at each of these stage. Here is something that I just wanted to mention because, for example, in the BlueMissionMed program, I have a lot of really early stage startups that are at the prototype stage, etc. And they tell me, I don't know what to say right now if I'm an early stage startup, what I'm going to say to investors, to fund, I don't know what to show, I don't have a lot of things. So you can still go to fund, not of course the one I say like Series B, etc., but you can still look for angel investors, for example. And here, even if you don't have traction yet, as I just mentioned, they know that every business starts at zero. And so you can, manage and focus your pitch differently if you are a really early stage startup. The first, as I mentioned, the problem. So showing the size and the urgency of the problem. So here, use data, use market reports, trends to show that the problem is real and significant. Actually, when I did the survey to the Blue investors, it was a key point. They were saying that when it's an early stage startup, they want to, okay, you present your problem, you say, I'm solving this, it's huge, blah, blah, blah. They really want to see that you did your research. So they want data and sources. So I did my research on, I don't know, Statistica, whatever. I call 10 companies or potential customers, etc. They really need data market. It's really important for the trust and confidence in this relationship with the startup and the investors. So really show market reports that you did your homework, your study on the market research side. And also you can show that you deeply understand the pain of your target market. So maybe you are already on the sectors, you have experienced it yourself, and it's why you created your startups, or you know someone, you are in the industry. So you need to show them that you are not inventing a problem, but you create a solution based on something, on the story of people, on story of companies who are dealing with this daily, and that it's a huge problem. So really do the link between the two. You need to do the correlation. Then, as I mentioned, when you are an early stage startup, sometimes you are the only one carrying all the work, going to the event, the conference, the accelerator, doing the pitching. That's good. And they get a bet on you. But here at this stage, don't forget to mention all the people that are into supporting you. Okay, they are not like the founder of the company, of course, but it could be mentor, it could be a teammate, it could be an advisor, it could be a board member. All these people, highlight their background, their experience in the maritime tech, you or your network. But I see that a lot when you are an early stage startup, as you are the one who, is image or representative of the company. Don't forget to show that you have a team, even if it's not an official team behind you. Really, like mention advisor, mention all the accelerator you are part of, etc. This is really important. So show the complementarity, show that there are other people who believe in your idea and who are ready to support you. So that's really important. Then I would say another point that is really important is also having a clear roadmap on how you're going to use the funds. So if I'm going to ask you some money for my project, I need to tell you I need this money because I want to achieve this in the next 12 or 24 months, and how this money will help me reaching some specific milestone. I need, I don't know, 50K to build my pilots, to build my MVP, to have the regulatory approval, to get my first customers. They need to know how much, for why, how are you going to do this, what are your objectives. So really being early stage is not a weakness, actually. It's really an opportunity to show your vision, the clarity, and really the ability to execute. Again, when I talk about the team earlier, it's not only to see the complementarity of the team, being enthusiastic, being energetic, being here, sharing your passion about your product is really important, because you can have the best idea, the biggest problem on the market that you are solving. If you don't have the team that is able to make this work, to make this company, to make this product profitable and operational, it doesn't matter. So team is essential on that. Any question for the early stage, or we can go further? I don't see anything. Okay. So now just this is going to be quick after I want to go deeper on how to have a good pitch, both on the script, both orally, both on the slide. But just to give you the different pitch we have. So first, of course, the investor pitch is the one we're gonna talk about today. But we also have the elevator pitch, the sales pitch, and the competition pitch. Most of you I know here in the audience are really used to the competition pitch. So they are quite different, and you need to adapt to each of the situation. So first, the investor pitch. Here, the objective is clear, actually. It's to secure funding and at least move to the next meeting. So here, the investors don't just want to understand what your product does. What they really want to understand is the market opportunity, your business model, your traction, and the potential return. So you're really showing the opportunity, how you're going to make money, etc. So here, one of my tips is avoid spending 80% of your time on tech details. I know some of you are really proud of your technology, of your product, and you want to see how it's amazing, how you are using these techniques and this material, etc. That's great, but it's not for the first meeting or the pitch. This is going to be for the next round. So you need to catch them for the first meeting with less technical details. Investors are rarely engineers. They care about the value, the risk, and the return. So you need to adapt on that. Then we have the sales pitch. I hope you will be in the stage where you will have some customers, and here you need to sell to them. So your audience is not an investors, it's a customers. So the main question here for them is, how does this help me? So here you need to really focus on the pain point. You need to speak the same language of your customers. So here I authorize you. You can have some jargon, you can have some technical, but you need to have the technical language and vocabulary of your audience, of your customers. They have seafarers, you talk like maritime stuff, etc. So really adapt your language. And instead of saying blah, 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 I'm the best, we do this, no, you really need to change the way you are presenting your solution. Here is, we know in the market you have this pain point. Here is the benefit our solution can bring specifically to you. So you can talk on ROI, saving, efficiency, compliance. So, for example, instead of saying, I don't know, like we have an AI-based optimization system, blah, 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 you can say something really specific for them, like our system help reduce fuels consumption by up to 20%, which translates X euros of saving per vessel per year. Something really concrete in their operation with key numbers and showing that you understand what they are dealing with every day. So again, do your work. Sales pitch must be concrete, outcome driven, and with a clear next step, not just saying, I hope we can work together. No, secure your next meeting, etc. Then the competition pitch. Here you always have a very strict timing. You have 3 minutes, 5 minutes, depending on the competition. You have a jury, and you have some scoring criteria sometimes. So here you need a kind of a mix of storytelling. Of course, it's a competition. You need to catch the attention of the audience and the jury. Most of the time, a clear impact. So don't forget the slide on social, environmental, economic impact. And a memorable hook. You will have different competitors on the stage. You need to attract their attention right away, and they need to remember this person on the stage that catch my attention with this, I don't know, bold statement, humoristic introduction or whatever. So a hook, that is really important. Remember that the judges watch many pitch in a row, so they don't remember all your number, but they will remember a story, a clear message, like something personal about you. So for the competition, you should play on that, pitch to your audience, etc. And then, yeah, of course, this one, all of you should practice this. This is the elevator pitch. It's your 30-60-second opportunity to spark interest. This is what I like to call your verbal business card. Here, the goal is not to explain everything, is simply to make the other person think, okay, this sounds interesting, tell me more, or can we have a discussion later? So really, putting like this little spark. And so here in the elevator pitch, you need to have, of course, a hook. So it could be a question, a surprising fact, or a bold statement, whatever, like catch the attention. Of course, again, this amazing combination of the problem and the solution. It should be in 1 or 2 sentences maximum, like really how to have this conversation in an elevators. And then, of course, little hints on why are you unique? Why I should talk to you on these specific matters. So really work this one, because you never know who you are talking to. Of course, when you are attending to an event with networking opportunities, B2B match, for example, the platform of BlueMissionMed, any events, you never know who you are talking to. So have this in your pocket, ready to deliver. And I will say train and train, because if this shows that it's something that you say by heart, it's not feel really natural. So try to have it ready and practice a lot this one. So yeah, not recite it word for word, and practice enough to adapt it depending on the context. This will be my pro tips, I will say. So we're good for this. This was really to understand the landscape of the pitching, the different pitch, the different stage, the different fonts. Do you have any question before we jump into the concrete exercise on how to build a winning pitching structure? Any question? Okay, so let's move to the next one. Okay, so here, as we are not so much, yeah, we can work together on this one actually. So here I want to show you how to build a winning pitching structure. So we're gonna work on the different mandatory, I would say, information that you need to show to the investors when you are doing your pitch. So first, as I mentioned, the hook. You can have 3, 4 lines, but it's really to have an opening, something that you will relate a fact, you can surf on the news, the actuality, or questions that grab the attention. So really, like in a moment when you enter on the stage, they need to all their eyes on you right now. So practice it. You can have 1, 2, 3, and you can choose depending on the situation, but work on your hook. And it's only after you hook, only after you catch the attention of everyone, that you to present yourself. Hello, my name is Marie Lucic. I'm the founder of Blue Connection, a consultancy company specialized in blah, 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 blah. Okay? Of course, sometimes I saw some people who are so stressed when they enter on the stage that they even forget to present themselves. So remember, say your name, the company, your role on the company, and here is the time to say your unique selling proposition. At Blue Connection, I do this and this in this market, and here is my differentiation from the other competitor on the market. So yeah, really important. So 2 lines on that. Then there is a problem. So as I mentioned, and we saw in earlier, that you need to show, to demonstrate, so to illustrate the problem, you need to make it clear and relatable. So here, you can, as I mentioned, agitate the pain. So here is a way where you can add some storytelling, some emotional connection. So you can say, okay, there is this problem with all this plastic in the ocean, or all this emission, or all this environmental problem in aquaculture, whatever. You say the problem, you demonstrate the key figures, how huge is it, and then when you agitate the pain, you can say, I talk with the farmer, or when I go to the beach and I see all the plastic, or etc. Here is a way where you connect with the audience. Share a personal story from you or someone you talk to on the market, and show them that it's a big concern, and that if you don't deal with it right now, it's going to be bigger and bigger. So here, I'm not saying like it's all about storytelling and emotional connection, but if there is one moment where we can put some storytelling, it's going to be here in the problem, and where you agitate the pain, I would say. Then, of course, came the time for the solution. So here it's your Brian time, where you're the star, you present your solution. Don't forget, sometimes, do the transition. Here is the problem, and after you say, here is how we're going to solve this problem. So make this transition from the problem to the solution. Here you present your solution, how it works, how it solves the problem. You can present some key features, but still don't go too deeply in the technical jargon. Just show maybe some differentiation point, etc. Here we go. So differentiation, here, show how you are differentiate. Why they should choose you instead of the other. And actually, when I, send the survey to the Blue investors and ask for some red flags they are looking for when they are listening to some pitch, they tell me the ones that say that they don't have any competition. Because they say there is always competition. You may have a patent, you may have a disruptive technology, you may be the first on the market to invent these brilliant technologies, but you will always have competition. It could be external competition, it could be a use case, regarding application, not only on the technological side, but also on the application for the market. So never say, we don't have any competition, we are the only one on the market. That's a red flag for investors because you don't send the good messages. We understand what you want to say, but you need to say it in a way that we have a big competitive advantage. We have different because we have this patent, because we have the network, because we have the infrastructure, because we are the only one to have these resources, okay? But instead, so you need to show that there are other people on the market. They are not mature enough, they don't have the technical specificities, they don't have the history, etc. But for them, you need to show that you did your homework, that you are not new on the market. You know that worthy actors and who can be the threats, that are not only in your main market, but can come from other application. So I know that it could, start from a good intention, saying, trust us, we are really the biggest, the winners, it's the only one here, but actually it's not good for them. So instead of that, you can show your differentiation. There is also two ways of doing it, depending on your solution and your maturity as a startup. The first one, that is a traditional one, for example, having a comparative table with you, your competitors, and the different feature, and showing, okay, me, I have all the green lights, ticks everywhere. They are here and here for the competition. So to show how you position yourself depending on the different criteria, etc. So this is one way to do it. But depending on the stage you are and depending if you are really into the market right now, there is also another way. It's instead of comparing feature, for example, you can position yourself, I would say, in kind of roses, where you see the different sectors and you show, for example, they are those funds that have invested 2 billion euros in 6-7 startups that were focusing on this specific topic, for example, AI in marine transportation. And here there are like 3 billion investor funds that have invested in 4 or 5 startups, really focusing on, emission reduction in marine transportation, etc. And you show us as a startup, we're really in the intersection of these 3 sectors and 3 investments. So the message you send is that there are already some funds that invest in these sectors because they believe there is opportunity, there is a market, and there is profitability. You can show, demonstrate that there are some company, other startups that are in the sectors. They are not really competitors, but they are in the same sectors as you, in your environment. And here you can say, but, compared to startup X, startup Y, we do this and this and this. So these are the 2 different strategies you can work on regarding differentiation. Then we have the impact. So here, of course, if you are talking to the Blue Impact Fund, of course, insist on this one. So explain the positive impact on your solution. So the one you have, of course, on the market, on society, and environment. And here again, even if it's not non-financial criteria and KPIs, you can have something measurable. So do the homework, having some key figures on these topics too. So work on it, and specifically for Blue Impact Investment Fund. Then we arrived to the business model. So here, again, I will say it's one of the most important slides of the pitch. So here you need to describe how your solution generates revenue, but be specific. Don't say we have this product and we plan to earn like X euros by 2026. No. Here you need to show we have a subscription-based revenue model, or its product, its services. You need them to understand what's the flow of the money, of the revenue. How do you have a diversification, etc. So here, be really specific. You need to show them that they can trust you, that it could be profitable, rentable, etc. So really here it's how it works and your plan, your business plan. So how you make money and how you're gonna make money on the next 3-5 years. So really here important. I don't know at which stage you are, but I hope you all have a business plan and some objectives with your cost and revenue stream, etc. So here is a moment where you can give them some insight or what your revenue will objective of course will be in the next 2-3 years, etc. So behind that they want to know when you will be profitable and how it's going to be interesting for them, for to end it. Then we have the key results and milestone. So here again, it's a moment to shine, even if you are an early stage startup. Remember, I told you you can always mention something. So here you can say we already had a pilot, we already have the MVP, we won an award, an innovation award, we have a press coverage, we have been selected by the BlueMissionMed support program, anything that can show that other people believe in you, support you, that you have results from the market, from the ecosystem. Mention everything. You can put the logo of your first paying customers or these research centers you are collaborating with your R&D project. Really all your progress to date. I really insist on that because most of the early stage startups, they don't do a lot of things because they think that they can't, show milestone. But yeah, really, it's the moment to see we are here and we already have some progress. Again, here the important thing is progress, because they want to see that if you have something right now, you are not sticking, I don't have the money, I can do the prototype. Each step, each little step is important for them. So progress, really remember that. And of course, here it's also where you can put some, your action plan. So you can have, your arrow and saying, okay, in first quarter of 2026, we plan to do a demonstrator on the Mediterranean Sea. Then we're going to do on the Atlantic, then on the Black Sea. We're going to have our first paying things or a new development project with the R&D or the new algorithm for AI, whatever. Show that you are thinking, and it's not having a mission, but it's having an action plan with some specific step in a timeline. Really important. And then the call to action again. When you're doing a pitch, I will strongly recommend, I don't know if it's a 3 minutes, 5-minute pitch, but always keep at least 15 seconds. You have an alarm, you have your timer for the call to action, because sometimes, you don't respect the time. You are so happy to talk about your technology and at the end they stop it and you didn't have to do your call to action. The call to action actually is like the most important thing. It's why you are here and what you are asking. So you really need to have a dedicated time for the call to action. And the call to action, sometimes, like when I attend to some event with some pitching contest or like even meeting with investors, you are so happy you did all the thing. You talk about the key metrics, the financials, the business model, the solution. You are so happy. And so at the end, you say, thank you. We're really happy. We would really like to work with you. Are you interested in a collaboration? No, you can't end it like this. You need to be really, really specific and end with a clear request. You need to open the discussion. Don't say, thank you for listening to me. I will love to work with you. No, be specific. As you saw on our roadmap, we plan for next year to do this and this. In order to do this, we are looking for 500k euros. And with this money, we plan to buy a machine. We plan to hire an AI specialist or an engineers. And we need to pay for the website or whatever. And we need that by February in order to have this on the market in June, for example. Be really specific. Do your ask like concrete and with this clear request. If it's not money, it could be partnership, but instead of saying we are looking for partners to develop our solution, that's not enough specific. Say we are looking for a partners who is a municipality in wastewater treatment in this specific country with this specific problem, who is willing to do a partnership during 3 months where we're going to have our solution with something really specific, because people in the audience need to understand that, I want to work with this company and I understand if I want to work with them, if I'm interested, or I can jump into the process and into the project. So I hope it was clear for the call to action. Any question at this stage on the call to action? No? Okay. So let's move to some specific point. Yeah, I have one question. Rocio,
Hello. Yes.
Hello.
I'm having really is really interesting, but I found that sometimes in the research projects mainly that I am Rocio from Rina. Hello. We are having from the European Commission founded. It's quite difficult at certain levels of development of the project to have really specific informations that can be related to the real market applications and in that way attractive for investors. So I have one, I understand that also have a particular specific statement at the beginning of the pitch for or questions that you are stating is also a good thing, but sometimes you cannot base this directly into your technology, your project in particular, but maybe try to link some existing information that is already validated just to attract and then maybe talk about the potential because it's really interesting but not always feasible depending of the stage on which are developing things and some specific informations are not always easy to get. Only that is a comment more than a question, but yes, it's really interesting. Thank you so much, Marilo.
Thank you very much for your feedback and I understanding. And what you mentioned actually is a good way. I think you find your solution. Sometimes when you can't, when it's really something really innovative or at the research stage, and you don't have like the hook or the market specifically personalized for your market because the market is not ready, it's really like disruptive or thing like that, or you can't share so much information. Maybe having a good hook, as you mentioned, on something that is well known, or just sometimes it could be humoristic. For example, just give you a tips. I used to work on a startup that was doing solution against motion sickness. So a device when you are on a boat, etc., and so that can help recondition and do the balance between your inner ear and your peripheral vision. Okay. And so that was kind of new on the market, so it was difficult for me to approach it. So what I did when I entered in the room, I asked a personal question. So who in the room or know someone who have ever suffered from seasickness? And so what I say here, it's really to start with something that can, connect emotionally with the audience. It could be also surfing on the news. You can say, oh, I don't know if you attend the conference just before in the event, they were talking about that. And we are doing this and this related to this. So you can always find a way, even if it's not specific with your project, to make the people connect with you and then deliver your pitch. And after, regarding what you say regarding like research project and how to make it concrete and relatable on the field, I think, yeah, I know most of the time people say, I don't have any clue right now to or feedback from the field. It could be really like survey or letter of intent from people who could be interesting. If you're really on the R&D, maybe having some partnership with some industrial who could be, will be willing to try or to test anything that can make the investors understand that it's not a patent or something in the lab or in the research centers, but that could have an implication and solve a real problem. Could be interesting. So I don't know if it helps what I say or if you want to add something.
I think it's clear, and I agree also with you. I mean, for example, one example I made, but we are trying to face, I mean, it's only 1 year, and now think we will have an extension of another project. It's not linked to these kind of technologies for marine desalination, sea, etc., let's say, topics, but it's related to the plastic. That it's a little bit also related because we have a lot of microplastics in the sea, actually. Um, but what we do, for example, is okay, we have these preliminary results and we make a memorandum of understanding with a lot of stakeholders. So there, I think for the investigator also, it's kind of a strong point to see the commitment of several stakeholders of diverse sectors and their interest in particular in the topic in which you are developing this technology. So also, if you don't have maybe a lot of facts, what you can try to do is use also your network as a statement of the real possibility and replicability of your solution.
Exactly. Thank you for your point. And I'm just going to jump on something also that you say, that sometimes, there are some of you that just jump for the first time in the blue economy, but we're like serial entrepreneur who have different experience in other sectors. And so even if for this specific project, you are still in the early stage, showing to the investors that you are used to running a business, coming from a startup, I don't know, in cosmetic, in food, whatever, and you bring all this expertise, all this network, all this experience in a new project, even if you think that it's not related because it was not in the blue economy, it's something that you can mention, okay? Because it's you, it's your expertise, etc. Also, for example, right now, I don't know if you know about the Blue Invest program, where you can benefit from coaching hours to help you being investor ready. I coach one of the startups, and this startup just launched a new project that is really new for the blue economy. But they have a historic track record of other projects in other sectors with big clients, big customers, etc. And so when she presented to investors in the blue economy, I said, yeah, of course, here it's true that you're really early stage in these specific sectors. But what I can strongly encourage you to do, when you do your pitch, you have your pitch deck. And after you have what I call the backup slides. It's when you have the Q&A or when they ask you some question. And so here you can have some backup slide where I will say encourage trust and credibility, where you can talk about the support of other industry or other project, etc. So they know that even if it's on this specific technology, it's new, you are someone that they can trust with a track record, etc. So it's really important to have all the support you may have. So as you mentioned, memorandum of understanding with the stakeholder of your environment, your network, etc. All the proof you can have to say you can bet on me, I'm great, I can make a business go well, even if it's in other sectors or any other stage, etc. Really important. So having all this information is really good. Even if you don't deliver it in the 3 or 5 minute pitch, having in the backup slide or after when you have the follow-up meeting with the investors is really important. Any other question or something that you want to add? Yep. Okay, so let's move on. So yeah, actually, yes, the effective hooks. Forget about that. So here, as I mentioned, these are some little techniques. So you can think about one or two. So it could be, as I mentioned, a question. It's what I was using in my other startups. So like that people raise their hand, they want to be part of the story. So it's really something when you ask a question, they want to answer the question. So immediate connection. Then if you use a statistic, of course, use a statistic that is kind of, kind of a bold statement, like something that people will say, why? I want to know more, etc. So yeah, try to find, if it could be an exercise after this masterclass, try to find one or two effective hooks that you think will work when you do pitching and that will catch immediately the attention of your auditors. Yeah. Also, here again, I insist on that. That's why I did an additional slide on that. When you talk about key numbers, when you have a slide, some of the coaches, they put a lot of information, a lot of text with a lot of key figures, key numbers, etc. So here, I would say choose 2 or maximum 3 key numbers, but these key numbers really need to showcase your impact. So maybe showing like a before after or like use comparison or really something to demonstrate the benefits. So I know you may have a lot of numbers that you're really proud of, but choose wisely what key numbers you will put on your script for your pitch. And then again, regarding the call to action, I say make your ask clear and direct. And there is something that I forget to tell you before, so that's perfect here on this slide. Reinforce the urgency, like join us today because we are launching it like in 2 months or blah, blah, blah. Trying to, give this sense of you need to be part of it now. We need you now because we are the next startup that you don't want to miss because we are solving these problems that is really important, etc. So yeah, try to work on this. That could be really, really interesting. So here, I don't know, we don't have the time to go deeper and do everything together, but I will just give you a little methodology. I don't know if you already did a pitch. Actually, I'm curious, can you all, maybe, I don't know, in the chat, if you can say if you are already in your funding strategy, if you have already write a script, etc., or if you are completely new, it would be interesting for me to know for the next parts. So if you can put on the conversation, if you're used to pitching or not really.
My problem pitching is the time. So it's putting order the ideas because I always prepare a paper or maybe my presentation, but it's like I discovered that for being able to talk in just 5 minutes, 5 minutes, 7 minutes, I don't know, I need to link concepts. I need to have really almost nothing of text in my hands or in the paper or even in the PPT if I have, because I mean, when I start to talk, maybe I get nervous and I forget the link. So if I have to learn like a kind of a statement or something, it's would not work for me. So I need to have really clear in my mind and know the facts, but also less a little bit free, let's say the pitch. And in that way, I think I can be more effective talking. I don't know. It's my particular experience. I mean, is if you have an structure, but it should be a structure that is really simplified and it should not depend of the order, for example, of different words. Maybe you know the orders of concepts that is different, and in that way it's easy for you to engage also the people.
Yeah, I understand. And of course, thank you for sharing this. When I give some advice, of course, the time you do when you work alone with your paper reading and when you are on stage, of course, it's never the same timing because there are some stress, because you're in front of an audience. Sometimes you are speaking a lot faster, or sometimes you are so stressed that you take a lot of time. So it really depends of the person. And so here, yes, in this structure, the idea is to help you build the structure of your script. And again, I will make the difference between the slide and the script. Actually, the slides are just here to support what you are saying and should not, I would say, stall the show. So people will need to focus on what you are saying and not reading all the documents. So I will talk about it later, but slides with a lot of text, heavy font, like it's not really good. So really the visual, the PowerPoint, it's really more like on big pictures, key numbers, etc. And all the focus should be on your script. So here, I don't know if it can help you. It's kind of a little framework depending of the different part we talk about. So yeah, so Rina, yeah, you are used to pitching. I know, you are a very good pitcher. And for the other one, I don't know. I saw Roger is still writing, but I know Roger also pitch and share his pitch with us. Great. I will check on that. Actually, Roger, so you can see with the framework and the structures that I'm going to share right now, and you can adapt it accordingly. So as I mentioned, here for the hook, so you can say, as I mentioned, a question. So I did it the two way, or you focus on the problem, or you focus more like in an imaginary world, like science fiction. Imagine if you could have, and you say the best word ever. So you have the two way of doing it, like focusing on the problem or focusing on ideal world and how you're going to fit on these two. So you can use this kind of structure, and when there is the bold word, you can adapt it to your own solution or your own sectors. So really, the first, you are free on that, just to give you some example and illustration on that. The second, we are simple. It should not take more like that 15 seconds, but remember saying your name, your role, your position in the project, the project name or company. And as I mentioned, here is where you can put your unique selling proposition. So sum up in a short sentence what your solution is doing. Because if you're doing your hook, you are saying, I'm Marie-Lucide Blue Connection. And after you begin directly with the problem and the other structure, sometimes you can lose them, okay? So it's important from the really beginning to at least give them a clue of what you are doing, and after you give more details. So I'm Marie-Lucide, I'm a consultant in the blue economy. I pitch startup in delivering a powerful pitch to investors in the blue economy, for example. So you need to have a sentence that say clearly, one sentence to sum up, resume strategically what you are doing, and then you do your pitch. So hook, present yourself, the project, your position, and what you're doing in a simple phrase. So you can use this structure. I don't know if you have your computer, paper, whatever, just in front of you. And I think you will have a replay if you want to find this support again. But use this different structure to introduce yourself and your project briefly. Then the problem, I think it will take around 20 seconds or 30 seconds, depending if you are a 3 minutes or 5-minute pitch, but it's to give you an idea. So in your script, it's around like 3 lines. So here, really focus on the problem. So you say what's happening, what it's caused, because just saying we have plastic in the sea, okay, that doesn't seem really good, but yeah, what's the matter? So no, really go deeper. Why is it important to tackle the challenge? Why is it important to understand this problem? So here is where you should put some data figures that you get from your market research. You can put the sources on the slides. The investors like it very much. And also showing why is it a pain point for your specific customer and target market, okay? So here in the problem showing that it's a big problem. So behind that there is a big market. What are the implications? What are the consequences? And of course, what are the impact for your ideal customers? So again, here is a structure. I put in bold like what you can adapt with your own project, startup, or innovation. But it's something that you can use on this. Then, as I mentioned, agitate the pain, the storytelling. Sorry, Sorina, to tell you as an example, but Sorina on her pitch is really good at it. So she talked about the problem, and after she shared a personal story. And actually, she was pitching in Ecomondo like a few weeks ago. And when she get the feedback from the investors, it's one of the green flags that they say. They say, we really love this part where you were sharing your emotional connection with the problem because thanks to that, we can relate to it. So really don't underestimate it. Here is the way where you can say, okay, let me tell you about me, why I created this, or why I was shocked by this problem. It could be also, yeah, when I meet my clients or when I talk with some fishermen or etc. So you can use the stories. If you're shy, etc., you don't want to talk about something personal, you can talk about someone else's story, okay? But make it, relatable. Use storytelling at this moment is really important. So personal connection. And also when I say agitate the pain, also showing the urgency of it. So we should do this now because by 2030, we will have these big issues. So here is a way where you can have the storytelling. So again, I give you little structures that you can adapt to your own company project if it can help you with that in your script. Any question, or I can go further? Okay, let's go. So then, solution. As I mentioned, here is where you can shine and talk about your solution. So of course, you should give a brief technical description, but you need to link it to any pain point. So just don't say my project does this, and this, but say my project does this to solve that. My project does this in order to, so you need to link each type with the pain point, with the need of the market, etc. I know it seems easy, but remember, they listen to a lot of people. So you need to have them concentrate. So you need to make the effort to make the link from the problem to the solution. So even when you are speaking, when you are saying, don't just, give feature like that. Link the feature to a specific problem. Explain how it solved the problem. It's really important. So here also you can begin, even if you have a part specifically dedicated to the differentiation from the competitor. Here is where you can give some, like spicy words regarding we have a patented things, like some words that show that you are different, that you have a competitive advantage of your solution. You have a label, you have a certification, etc. So here is also the way, the time where you can put some elements that could be relevant here. So the differentiation here is actually really important. So you have 20 seconds here. Is really to show, because I can assure you, if you don't put it in your pitch, the first question you will have from the investors is why you? Why should I choose you? Why you compared to the other in the market? So you need here to shows a differentiation. It could be on the feature, it could be on the way you reach the market, etc. And don't be afraid to be compared to competitors. Actually, sometimes you can make it your own. You can say, we are the, I don't know, the Uber of the sea, whatever, to show the description, to make a connection with the people, to understand the business model and how you translate it to a new sectors. So don't be afraid. Actually, it's better to show your positioning on the market, or you want to be seen, or you want to be perceived by the market, the stakeholders, the customers, and also the investors, rather than don't say anything and let the investors, based on the 3-minute pitch, to put you in a box and after you are here. No, give them the materials, give them the information, and position yourself. We are doing this. We are different from this well-known actor because they are doing this, but we are doing it in a different way. So really take this chance to give the opportunity for the investors not to try to guess something, but being sure and really clear on how you position yourself on the market and why you are different. Okay. Regarding the impacts, here depends. If it's not an impact food, you can reduce this part, and put more on the solution and differentiation. If it's a blue impact fund, I will strongly recommend you to take the 30 seconds on that. So here, again, don't say, we have a positive impact on the environment. We are helping reduce the pollution on the marine environment. Great, but I will not say greenwashing or blue washing. I don't know how you want to call it. You need to have numbers. You need to say how you're going to do that. And if you are early stage and you don't have like proof numbers right now of your results, saying that we plan to reduce these specific things by this, or are you going to track that, or that you are aligned with this specific, or you're going to have an impact plan or everything. So try to be really specific on how you want to link it. Some of the investors, they really have, no, it's not some, all of them have an impact plan. And so you need to see that we are targeting SDG 14 or SDG blah, blah, blah. So really be specific on this one, on how you plan to achieve it. Then the business model here, so I will say 15 seconds. Depend again if you are talking on corporate funds, on this, yeah, really depends. You can, it's a suggestion, then you can adapt. But here again, it's to explain your business model. So I give you the structures here, and also, if you are in a more mature stage, you should also not only show how you're going to generate revenue now, but how you plan to generate more revenue and to scale and be more profitable as soon as you grow and expand in new markets. So again, here you can adapt it to your stage of development. Oh, sorry. Then we have the key results and milestone. Here, it's where you put everything. We have an amazing team. We're already 4. We have these partners. You put their logo. We have this certification. You have an amazing picture of you winning an award, etc. So here, it's where you put all your success to show that first, there are people who believe in you, who trust you, and again, keyword progress. So really important here. So again, here it's to help you a structure that you can complete with your own project. And finally, the call to action. Again, remember the name at the end. Sometimes people forget, but as they listen to a lot of projects in the afternoon or in the day, so giving the name again of your project, the number, how much you need to do what, etc. So the call to action, again, here I put 30 seconds, remember, because I think it's one of the most important part of your pitch. So I hope this help you for the structures, and so you can use it to adapt and complete it with your own project. And after, for additional tips, I would say practice. I'm sorry to say that, but you need to practice and practice again, having your paper and reading less and less, being in front of a mirror or practicing with your friends, having your timer next to you, even if it's 3 or 5 minutes. Also doing some transition, as I think I don't remember who was saying that in the chat, but sometimes learning, remembering the key information that you want to say, but be ready to have some smooth transition between it, because if you are too stressed, sometimes you see the other slides coming on the screen and you don't remember how you do the transition, etc. So it depends on your level of confidence for oral speaking, etc. But remember that it could be stressful. So having sometimes some transition ready from the problem to the solution to the differentiation can help you to make this exercise more comfortable. And again, another tips is, of course, the energy and the engagement. If you speak with passion, that demonstrates that you are really into it, and actually people want to be part of an adventure when there is someone who is sharing their energy and passion with something. So here, maintain eye contact. Even if you are shy, I don't say looking at someone really in the eyes all the time. You can choose like 1, 2, 3 people in the room, in the audience, and you can change. It could be the jury, of course. If you are really shy, you can fix a point, but it's always good to have some moment where you catch the eyes of some people in the audience, and you change. And of course, using an engaging tone, so prepare your voice when you arrive, and speaking confidently is really, really important. The moment you enter, and it's why the hook is really important, that gives a tone of the 3 minutes or the 5-minute pitch that you're gonna do. So before we go to the slides, so more like the visual supports that will help with the pitch, do you have any question regarding like the script, what you're gonna say? No? Crystal clear? Okay. Okay, so let's move with the slides. So here, I always show this slide before to really make the people understand the difference between the script and the slides. I strongly recommend you to first work on the script because it's really what you want to say, and then the visual support is just a support to help deliver your message in a visual graphic better way. Some people, they always begin with the slide, the PowerPoints, and after they try to say what there is in the slides, that's not the good way to do it. So first, work on your script, what you want to say, and the visual, the PowerPoint is really here as a support and not the other way. So for the presentation, of course, if you can use your branding color of your company, don't use 10 colors in your PowerPoint, 1, 2, 3 maximum, something consistent that reflects your branding and your company. Sometimes there are some innovation contests where they ask you to fit into one of their templates. So in this case, you will need to adapt, but you can choose, for example, the font and the color of the text. So here is a way where you can add some of your branding and graphic identity. Choose good picture. You should have a good library. Now you have some. You should have like 5, 10 great pictures that represent your company, your product, your solution, your market. It will be in all your pitch deck, all your presentations. So choose them wisely, and as you will need to have minimal text. I don't want paragraphs. I don't want like big sentences. At least bullet points with some keywords or some figures, but really not sentences or paragraphs. So the most important would be the visual. So if you have a image, graphs, diagrams, that's really important. So take the time. If you can have a visual, beautiful graphs that will help to show with confidence and still in your color companies, that's really important. So really simplicity is key. For each slide, one messages, and really try to have a consistent design that is really professional and aligned. If some of you are interested with the Blue Pitch Mastery program that I will launch in January, then we really also focus on that, on the design on the slide that can also send a message of we are professional, etc. So that is important also, the visual aspect of it. So for the pitch slide structure, so first we have the title slide where there is a project name, your logo. When I say team, most of the time it's the speaker, the picture of the speaker, and the contact information. So here, as I mentioned, it's the slide. So remember what I said, the first thing to say is not the presentation of who you are, etc. It's the hook. So you will say your hook with, most of the time, it's the background, etc. You can have another picture if really it illustrates your hook. But then the first slide is really like the title slide with project name, your unique selling proposition, logos, etc. If you can have beautiful picture on the background that illustrates, that would be amazing. Then, so the problem slide, here you can have the picture. Most of the time on the problem slide, we have like a picture that shows the problem, why is it difficult. You can show a picture of one of your customer dealing with one of the problem, etc. And sometimes they do like a chart or like comparison, a graph, or key numbers that show how is it important and the urgency of the problem. So solution slide, here is where you can put a picture of your product or the different feature. So here, don't put all your technical documentation, just bullet point with keywords, etc. So yeah, here I strongly encourage you to put all your picture of your prototype, if it's a prototype, etc. Or you working on the lab, showing that there is something concrete behind. Regarding the value proposition, here, I don't know if you remember, I tell you that there are two ways to show the differentiation with your competitor. So it could be like, a table where you compare the different feature, or it could be this rosy stars where you can show that these different investors invest in these sectors, such amount of money, and how you position yourself in the whole ecosystem. So here it could be also visually attractive. So yeah. Regarding the business model, so here having a good curve on showing the profitability, of course, it would be amazing. So to show the different numbers of your business plan for the next 3-5 years, and also some bullet points, or if it's like a software, a product, a subscription model, or etc. So what's your business model and business plan on that? You can also here show the market size. So saying that, I don't know if you're familiar with the SAM, TAM, like the size of the market and the market that you can address. You can put it here. Then for the achievement and roadmap, here, as I mentioned, you can do an arrow with a timeline to see the different steps in order for you to achieve these different objectives, and with the next step. And finally, for the closing slide, most of the time, some of the people will thank you for listening to us, blah, 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 in a QR code. That's good. I will say it could be at the end, but you need to have a slide dedicated specifically for your call to action with the number, the amount of money you're looking for what specific objective, etc. So you really need to be specific and have a slide dedicated to your call to action. So again, yeah, here are some pitching team again regarding the slides. So focus on clarity and brevity. I know we want to put all the information on the slide, but it's not the best way to do it. So really find your wording, bullet points, and insist on really beautiful visual. If you have to have an investment, it will be on the visual of your pitch. And again, when I say use data to support your claims, but keep it simple. Remember, I say choose like maybe 2 or 3 key numbers to put on your pitch. You can put on the top like the sources. Remember, the investors really like that. They want to see that you don't have it outside of your pocket. You're welcome. You're welcome. So that was for it, the pitching. And so the last part before I open it for the question is really some tips on how to deliver it. So we saw the script, we saw the slides, and now is how to deliver it with confidence. So as I mentioned, start strong. When you enter, take the mic. I don't know if you have it in one hand, if you have it right there, but you need to set the tone from the really, really beginning. Use pauses. It could be counterintuitive, but actually using the pause at the good moment is really important. So I strongly encourage you, for example, to use the pause after actually after the most important part, the key messages that you want to say in your script, because it lets the time for your audience to take the information, keep it, process it, and after you continue. So it really creates a momentum, and it's really powerful. So in your script, you can put where you put the pause, and you train like that. So I know sometimes on a pitch of 3-5 minutes you need to rush, but you really need to put some space for pause. Engage with eye contact. I already told you, but look directly the audience in the eyes. It's not like one person from the first seconds to the last, like looking at him like that, but choosing 2-3%. It could be someone that you like, a friend of you, a mentor, a coach, an organizer that you are, knowing. It could be part of the 3 like that. When you begin, there is someone you know in the audience. It will assure you a little, and after you change like that. But having this eye contact is really important. Vary your tone and pace to avoid the monotony, changing your tone, being really enthusiastic when you talk about the beginnings, and when you're talking about the problem, maybe having a lower voice, etc. So switching this energy, but keeping your enthusiasm is really important, and that makes your audience stay with you the whole pitch. The body language matters. I think you can see it even in the masterclass. For example, I speak a lot with my hands. I need to do a lot of work sometimes to reduce it. But here, as a pitch, definitely if you have the mic or your paper, but if your hands are free, it's also a good way for you to make your point. So you can use, having a open body, like not having your arm crossed, etc., but using your arms, your hands, your upper body as open to the conversation. Avoid fidgeting, of course, but really, yeah, it should really reflects your confidence and your openness to the discussion and the question after. Be energetic and enthusiastic. If you're an entrepreneur, I'm sure your project is your little baby, your passion. So actually, it's good to share and to transmit this energy to your audience, and actually that makes them engage. Sometimes when they see someone who is really passionate about it, they're really happy and more willing to be engaged and ask questions just after that. Keep it clear and simple. Again, I don't know what product or what project you are involved in. If it's really R&D, really technical jargon, I will strongly recommend you to adapt the vocabulary, to adapt the wording, to have something like really clear that it's accessible to everyone. And if after you get the first step and you go to the meeting with the technical advisor, etc., here you can talk like more technical question. But when you do the first speech, really like simple words. And then, and with impact. sometimes you are so happy, you have done your 3 minutes, 5 minute pitch, and so at the end you say thank you very much, blah blah blah, and you are like, ending like I'm done. No, at the end and with impact. So thank you very much. I'm available for question later, whatever, but keeping open, keeping strong for by and like that you will reinforce your messaging. So I think I'm good and I'm good in the timing. So we have some time for the question for those who want. And again, for those who want to go deeper, I will launch in January an online course, which is Blue Pitch Mastery, where we can go deeper and it's going to be really personalized. If you want to, you will have tools, templates, real examples. We can work with feedback on real-time pitching, etc. And you will have all the feedback from the survey from the Blue investors in the ecosystem. So, any question? No question? So I think it's clear. I don't know if Marta, Irene, or Matteo, you want to add something, or anyway, if you want to ask some question later on.
Thank you very much, Marilu. I think it was a very useful training for, I hope all the attendants enjoy. I think it would be a good moment also for us to briefly share the community platform that we have already available and that will be still available for the coming months. I believe it's until June. Correct me if I'm wrong, but for those who don't have a profile yet, I'll briefly share the link just for you to be able to scan our QR. Hold on 1 second. Oops. Yeah, so
Marta, just wanted to add that I've had last week my first meeting that was intermediated by the platform, so it
nice.
works.
Okay. Yes, just so everybody knows that this is a very useful community where all the participants of BlueMissionMed are able to benefit, as Sorina mentioned, from especially matchmaking services. And it's also a platform where we will promote different trainings and masterclasses as the one that Marilu conducted today. So there are different steps that you can do to build connections. You can register in events, create a profile, not only a participant profile, but also one for your organization. And you can also upload your solution in a marketplace where there's a specific matchmaking available. So yeah, you can scan the QR code, which for some now, I hope you can see it now. In case you don't have a profile yet, I think it's a very useful tool that Blue Mission Med support program is offering for the upcoming year. So thank you very much.
So thank you very much, everyone. And I think, Marta, you mentioned that maybe the live or the replay would be so on the platform and maybe on the website, I don't know. And if you have any other question regarding maybe the template or some question that you didn't have the opportunity to share on the chat, don't hesitate to have, yeah. Thank you, Marta, for the link. You have the email on BlueMissionMed, and I will be happy to answer all your questions. So thank you very much. I think, yeah, we ended a little early. I was expecting a little more question, but it's okay. So thank you very much. And we hope to have you on more Blue Mission Med event and on the platform course. Thank you.